All right, let's get into it. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a secret member of your household. I'm talking about someone who works 24/7, day in and day out, and gets almost zero credit for it. So let me ask you, what do you think is the hardest working appliance in your house? Your first thought might be the refrigerator, right? It's always humming. Or maybe the oven, especially around the holidays. Well, the real answer is probably going to surprise you. It is your HVAC system. That's right, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. It's the silent guardian of your comfort, that machine tucked away in the basement or a closet that you literally only notice when it suddenly stops working. We're calling it the unsung hero for a reason. It is constantly on the front lines, managing your home's climate. So now let's take a look at the incredible battle it's actually fighting every single day. And every hero needs a villain. For your HVAC system, the villain is the weather itself. It's this relentless, year-round climate challenge that is always pushing your system to its absolute limits. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Think about places with a humid continental climate, like, say, Arlington Heights, Illinois. In a place like that, the system is fighting a war on two fronts. In the summer, it's a total siege. We're talking 90-plus degree heat and that thick, heavy 70% humidity. But then in the winter, it flips to an all-out war against sub-zero temperatures that put unbelievable stress on every single component. But this fight is so much more than just hot and cold. You've got these brutal freeze-thaw cycles where water gets into tiny cracks, freezes, expands, and literally breaks vital coils. Or you get those wild temperature swings, 30 or 40 degrees in a single day, forcing the system to constantly switch back and forth between heating and cooling. Even the ground under your house can be an enemy, with shifting soil that can pull your ductwork right apart. So when our hero is under this much constant stress, it starts sending out distress signals. The real trick is knowing how to read them. So let's decode how your system cries for help. These are the classic warning signs. That weird smell coming from the vents, or strange new noises, or a sudden jump in your energy bill. Look, these aren't just little annoyances, they are symptoms. Weak airflow, rooms that are too hot while others are too cold, or a unit that just keeps turning on and off all the time, that's called short cycling. All of these are clear signals that something is seriously wrong. Okay, let's zoom in on one of the most serious problems you can have, a cracked heat exchanger. Just think about this for a second. For 15 or 20 years, this metal part expands when it gets hot and shrinks when it cools, over and over and over again, through all those harsh winters. Eventually, that constant stress just wears the metal out and it cracks. And this is why it is so dangerous. That crack isn't just a mechanical problem. It's a hole in the wall between the toxic gases from combustion and the actual air your family is breathing. A cracked heat exchanger can leak deadly, odorless carbon monoxide right into your home. This isn't something to wait on. It's a true emergency. When you spot these signs, especially a serious one, it is time to call for a rescue mission. You need an expert who can come in, figure out exactly what's wrong, and get your system back up and running safely. And the whole process really doesn't need to be scary or complicated. It's actually just 3 simple steps. First, you make the call. Second, a technician comes out, does an expert diagnosis, and gives you clear, upfront pricing so there are no surprises. And finally, they do the repair and test everything to make sure it's all working perfectly again. Now, sometimes that diagnosis leads you to a pretty tough question. When you're looking at a major repair, you have to make the ultimate choice. Do you repair your old hero, or is it finally time to get a replacement? And this is the exact dilemma so many homeowners face. Does it make sense to sink hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars into an old aging system, or is it actually smarter to invest that money in a brand new one? Well, to help with that, there's a really handy guideline called the $5,000 rule. It is a simple formula. You just multiply the cost of the repair by the age of your system in years. If that final number is more than $5,000, then replacement is probably the smarter long-term move. So let's walk through a quick example. Let's say you have a 15-year-old system and it needs a $400 repair. Okay, so you take that $400 repair cost and you multiply it by the system's age, which is 15 years. That gives you a grand total of $6,000. And since that $6,000 number is obviously bigger than $5,000, the rule gives you a pretty straightforward answer. It's time to seriously think about replacing the system. Because chances are you're just going to face more and more breakdowns soon, and it's better to put that repair money toward a new, reliable unit. And here's exactly why that makes so much sense. A 15-year-old furnace is already at the end of its typical lifespan anyway. By replacing it, you're avoiding a whole bunch of future repair bills on a machine that's on its last legs. Plus, and this is a huge one, new systems are 20 to 40% more energy efficient. That means a replacement literally starts paying you back on day one with lower monthly utility bills. So we'll end on this thought. That unsung hero in your home is working around the clock, fighting off extreme heat, humidity, and brutal cold, all to keep you comfortable. The real question is, are you listening when it cries for help and giving it the support it actually needs to keep on winning that fight?